Greetings, people of the internet. This is Scott with CircWorks, and this is 100 Days of Making Comics, day 87. Don't quote me on that. Pretty sure, though. Pretty sure it's day 87. Anyway, getting closer to 100. Yeah, I'm kind of getting nervous because I've got this other thing that I'm planning after this, and I'm just wondering how long it's going to take to prep that whole thing. So, anyway, what is 100 Days of Making Comics? It's where I put aside some time, usually about 30 minutes. Today I got a lot more than 30 minutes, so that's cool. And on my own personal project, which is Young and the Dead. This is a comic book that I've been working on for a little while now. I got a couple different, this is issue 2, issue 1, I got a standard version and then a deluxe edition of each. Those are all available at circworks.com, and hopefully soon it'll be a website where you guys can go and read it online. I shouldn't say soon because I don't know how soon. I'm still a little nervous. Even though I've got 2 issues under my belt, I want to make sure that I won't be so far along if I update like weekly or whatever, that I won't be so far along by the time this 3rd issue is finished. And it's going a little slower than I would have hoped, but it's coming along. I actually got to work on it some today, and I'll show you that. I just want to, I just don't want to get to the point where, because the way I kind of work is I work on my comic book, and because I want to have at least 1 issue done for each new like con season or whatever. And then after I finish the comic book, I work on some print designs because I got this whole other thing, this whole other CircWorks thing with aliens and robots and zombies and all that kind of stuff. And they're a little more graphic designy prints and things like that that I do as well. And I try to mix all these things up under kind of one umbrella, but the comic books are a little different. They're way more time consuming and everything. But anyway, so I want to get the comic done so I can get to that other part and, doing my prints and my little novelty products and button designs and all that kind of stuff that I sell at shows or whatever, and on my website. But yeah, the comic book just takes a while, so I want to get that done, move on to the other stuff, and then get back to the comic books. But there's, so it's kind of almost like it's kind of broke up into like seasons or whatever, where I work on these different projects. So I just want to make sure that I don't get to a point where my comic book is already almost updated and I don't have any more pages left to update. So I've got to plan out. I've just got to plan all that stuff out. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys. It's in my head anyway. So, but yeah, the cool thing is I did get back to working on the actual comic book, which I was really bummed about because I'm doing all this other stuff that has to do with Young and the Dead and the comic, and it has to do with making comics because it's all part and parcel of this whole thing. Mainly working on a webcomic, taking the files that I already have, digitizing, and most of them are digitized, but they're not the exact size that I want for the webcomic, so changing the size, and there's a lot of things like, I don't know, I'll show you issue, where is it? I don't know if I have this. Yeah, so in issue 2, I've got a lot of these big double page, man, this is kind of hard to see with this light. Let me see if I can turn this light around a little bit. Might be a little bit easier to see. So anyway, I've got like a couple of these big double page spreads, which it looks cool in comic book form, but they don't really translate that well to, now let me turn this light back around so you can see me, sorry. I've got to figure out a better system for all of this. Hopefully by the time I start doing this next show, because I want it to be a little more polished. But anyway, all that aside, I was talking about these double page spreads. They look real great in the comic book, but on the web comic, because you're kind of viewing everything, in a certain format, so which isn't usually lengthwise. I mean, you've got basically like a single page format. So what I had to do was try to take all that stuff on those double page spreads and rearrange the panels, which wasn't easy, but I actually got it done. So it took a little bit to do that yesterday, but now all the first 2 issues and page 1, which is the only page from the new issue 3 that I have totally finished with lettering and all that kind of stuff. Those are all ready to go. I still have to do more stuff on the website, but I just want to make sure that by the time I'll have this done by the time I run through the other 2 issues, and that by the time I get around to issue 4, there won't be big gaps and everything. So I just want it to run smoothly. So I don't know exactly when I'm going to start updating that webcomic, but anyway, kind of my thoughts. But yeah, so it's, for me, it's, so I got cut off there for a minute. What happened was my camera just shut off and it said that there's no more room on my phone to record. And despite the fact that I keep deleting all these old videos and stuff off my phone to free up space, and what I discovered is with the iPhone, I guess if you delete a video or you delete a photo or something, it's not actually deleted. It sits in a file, it sits in a folder somewhere for like 30 days, which I guess I can understand why you do that in case you accidentally try to delete something, but I didn't know that. So I've got, 30 days worth of these videos that I've been shooting that I didn't know were on my phone, and I'm looking at because I keep deleting pictures off the phone, and it's like, and when I plug my phone in to the computer and everything, you've got that kind of bar that shows you how much space is on your phone. It's like almost full. It's in the red, and I'm like, what the heck? I keep deleting, and I know I've had more photos than this on this phone, so I didn't know what the problem was, so I figured that out. Deleted all those old videos, so now hopefully I'm back on track. But anyway, so what was I talking about? I was just talking about reformatting pages for the webcomic and everything, but in general, I'm just talking about all these different aspects of this whole making comics thing, whether it's the actually working on the comic book, or whether it's kind of thinking about marketing for the comic book, or whether it's creating the website for a webcomic version of the comic, and everything, even doing these videos. There's all these different things you kind of have to juggle, and so I've been doing other stuff other than actually working on the comic book, and I've been kind of bummed out. Like, I got to get back to doing that, because that's the core of what everything is about, obviously. And I, whatever it is, 87 days or whatever, I'm not as far along as I'd like to be. So I decided to go back to the actual comic. I haven't penciled any new pages. I got 5 pages just penciled. Had the first page inked, so I decided to go to the second page and ink that. So let me show you that. Let's see if the light is gonna, let me turn this again. Yeah, there's gotta be a better way to do this. All right, so here we've got, I've showed this in pencil, but now it's a little easier to see. You got kind of zombie kind of breaking through a doorway, which has been, you've got tables, or not tables, but everything, pushed in front of this door to kind of keep him out. He's kind of breaking through all that stuff, and you got a radio here, and she throws the radio at him, and now he's kind of laying on the ground, the zombie is. So anyway, so I inked that, and so I've got these other pages. I'm probably I might start inking some more of these. I might want to get these 5 pages totally inked before moving on to pencils. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll decide that I want to start penciling again, but as long as I'm working on the pages, I think I'm going to be a little happier. So I've got this other page next, what happens after this zombie is knocked out and everything. But the one I'm really excited, so I want to get that one kind of done so I can do this I've got this big spread that I've showed before. Kind of hard to see on camera, but it's, a big action scene that I'm really, there's tons of zombies in it and everything, and the kids and all that stuff. So looking forward to inking this. But I want to do them in order, so I'll do this page 3, and then on page 4 I should have a lot of fun with that. But yeah, it's cool to be back working on the actual comic book again. Swing this over here, and that might be it for today. I know yesterday I kind of took my dog for a walk, and That was that was kind of I was like worried that this was gonna be really bad when I was recording it, because I was just not, you know, it's hard to think and walk and watch the dog, make sure he has a habit of getting off of his leash and like taking off, like he struggles, and just thinking about all that stuff and trying to concentrate on talking was difficult. But I watched it back and it was okay, and I even thought about redoing it. I'm like, no, I mean, these are just updates. These are what I'm going on in my day, and if my day is kind of hectic and things are going crazy like that, and I've got to try to squeeze my videos into a morning walk, then that's what it is. So so as kind of chaotic and hectic or just fly by the seat of my pants these videos could be, in the future when I do this next series after 100 Days of Making Comics, and I'm still going to update on what's going on with the comic book, probably in a separate video, kind of like this, but it'll just be random. Just, hey, it's me, Scott, I'm back. Here's what's going on with the comic for all you guys that are following that. But the other video, I think it'll be a little more structured. So I'm anxious to get started on that too, but I've got a lot of work to do on that. Another thing, got all these things that I've got to try to wrangle and figure out how to get them done. So, but that's always the way it is. But anyway, if you're enjoying this content and everything, and if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. I want to try to get at least just a meager 100 followers, or is it followers on YouTube? Yeah, I think it's followers, or subscribers. I guess it's subscribers on YouTube by the end of my 100 days, and I'm a little bit behind, but I'm gonna try to push that, see if I can get that to happen, and then I'll move on to the next thing, and then hopefully this next video series will be a little more accessible to people, because this is a lot to follow somebody for 100 days. For those of you guys who've been watching these for so long, I really do appreciate it, but it's a lot to ask of somebody. So then again, I guess it's a lot to just do it, but I've kind of made that decision to do it, so I'm sticking with it, and I'm getting there. So, but if you're enjoying it, please do subscribe, leave comments. I love interacting with all you guys, and answering questions, and a lot of you guys have helpful things for me that I didn't know about, or so I think everyone can kind of learn, and it's just good to kind of build a community like that. So I'd like to continue to build that community, and subscribers and comments and likes and all that stuff, that's all part of it. So anyway, when I mentioned that video yesterday about me walking, I also, in that video, I mentioned that I was going to probably go and do some sketching. Didn't really have time to do that today, but I might do that tomorrow. I think I'm going to take my sketchbook out in the morning and sketch some stuff out. So that might be what I'm doing tomorrow. We'll see. Sometimes, like I said, this is always, you never know what's going to happen from day to day. Other than I will get a video out in some way, shape, or form and put in my 30 minutes a day. So having said all that, I'm going to leave you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. That is all.